Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, November 17th, 2023. I almost said Wednesday. We don't do those episodes. But I'm here with Luke, as per usual.
What's
Quite
up?
a few things going on in sports. In the NFL, Deshaun Watson is out for the season. We got that news earlier this week. But it looks like Justin Jefferson might be making his return this week. Not too sure. He was limited in practice. And then over in the MLB, of course, it's the off season, but there's always news going on. The MVP gets announced tonight. At the moment, I'm 6 for 6 on my MLB awards predictions. I'm very proud of that thus far. Um,
Nice.
and as long as Shohei and Acuna take it home tonight, then I'll be 8 for 8 on all my awards. Um, let's see what else. Today, it came out that the All-Star game in 2025 is coming to Atlanta. Once again, it's right after an election year, so we better not mess that up again. Um,
Yeah.
and then we also got the news that the MLB owners unanimously voted in favor of the Athletics' move to Las Vegas. And then in soccer, an international break. What a boring thing. Like nobody wants to watch like Euro qualifiers right now.
Nah,
Not at all.
nobody.
But we have a very, very fun episode ahead of us. Of course, our NFL preview for week 11. But on top of that, we're going through our all MLB first teams. So they released all the nominees. You can go out there and vote right now. And we'll be going through that, giving everybody our personal opinions. And then we're going to talk about, this is a great idea by Luke, our January transfer window wish lists for our team. So Luke will be going through his Chelsea transfer window wish list. I'll be going through my Newcastle one and just talk about some things we need to address, some players we want to go out and get. And then, of course, we'll be rounding it out with a good old questions time. Luke, how are we feeling?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. I
Oh
would say
man.
that I get a week off, but I have a project due on Monday and discussion posts due on Tuesday, despite my school having the full week off. Um, and then, of course, working on Black Friday. Never fun.
No, it's not. No, it is not. But that's we live for those days, man.
Yeah. And next week, because of Thanksgiving, we won't be recording on Thursday. We'll be recording on Wednesday. Episode will still come out on Friday. So, all you people that have to go to work on Black Friday, feel free. Toss in the AirPods, toss in the headphones, listen to the podcast on Black Friday while you're at work. But
Yes.
without further ado, let's get into NFL Week 11. Luke, this is going to be a pretty solid week, I think. We're starting to see a decent division between a lot of the teams, but it's very close in the middle, and the middle is where we're seeing a lot of playoff teams right now. So we'll start off with this game here. 1 o'clock, we've got Steelers versus Browns, your boys. And this one is one for the defense lovers. These are two teams that's defense have been fantastic. And
Yeah.
now
I
we get
mean,
the news that Deshaun Watson's out for the season. Kenny Pickett exists, so obviously there will be no offense in this game, but the defenses are there.
yeah, of course. But I think the main thing for me going into this one as a Steelers fan is like one, we just continue to keep winning. We're one of the few teams that actually have like a win streak right now. I think it's like a lot of teams have won last week. A couple teams have won 2 weeks in a row, and then the Vikings have won 5 in a row, which has been absolutely insane to see how they've
Yeah.
turned it around. But anyway, Steelers Browns. The main thing for me in this one is going to be the fact that Deshaun Watson is out, obviously, as you highlighted. And they're not going with PJ Walker in this game. They're going to go with the rookie that they drafted. And Mike Tomlin loves playing against rookie quarterbacks.
That's true. They just keep feeding you guys rookie quarterbacks this year.
They really do.
It's kind of crazy.
So I'm hoping that in this Steelers Browns game we're going to end this guy's career very early, and not by hurting him or anything like that. Just we're gonna make sure that everybody knows what kind of player he is. And I'm knocking on wood because wow, what a story it would be if this guy beats the Steelers, especially both
Yeah.
teams being 6-3. This is a really important second game between these two teams. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, big time. Jalen Warren is new RB1. I don't
Yeah,
know if that news reached really like many people, but yeah, Najee is RB2, which it doesn't even matter because they both get an equal amount of
yeah,
touches. But yeah, it was a big deal. You know, we went for Najee pretty early in the draft. He was a big investment, and it's just I hate to see the regression on the depth chart, even though it's not going to be much of a regression. But um, I'm taking my boys in this one, obviously.
yeah. It's hard to say Cleveland's gonna win with DTR at quarterback. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Steelers. As long as you guys can run the ball, and you talked about this change at running back, but I still think you guys can do it. Like Jalen Warren's good, like you said, it's gonna be a pretty split carries anyways. Um,
Yep,
I'm gonna take the Steelers 17-14.
I like that score. I don't know. It seems like low 20s has been a good number for us. We're not going to score only touchdowns, so I don't think it's going to be like a 21 score. Um, I'm going to go with how much we put up or how many we put up last week. I'm going to go 23-17 Steelers.
Okay. Let's get into the next game, though. Bears Lions. And it looks like Justin Fields is back. A full practice, no limitations on Wednesday. And the problem is, I just can't pick against the Lions. Like, I know they had the game against the Ravens and what have it. Last week was absurd. That game was insane to watch. But if they run the ball against the Bears like they did against the Chargers, the Bears have no chance at even staying in this game for more than a quarter.
No, it just. I mean, who would have thought that that pairing of David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs was going to be so good?
Yeah.
Um, I don't think a lot of people really knew what they were getting with David Montgomery. You know, only playing for a Packers team that's not really good at running the ball, or wasn't whenever he was there, and then a Bears team that just couldn't do shit at all. He looks fantastic in this Detroit offense, and there's no way that either of them should be the starter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really. You can't make a case, is what I'm trying to say, for one person to be the starter of this Lions running back core because they're both they complement each other so freaking well.
Yeah, and like they both can just break off a super long run and they both have the speed. Typically we talk about like the dynamic of like the shifty big play running back and like the strong, hard-nosed running back. Both of these guys do it all very well. Jameer, maybe not as much if you're just looking for 2 yards, but David Montgomery is a perfect, you know, combination of all the good aspects of your two running backs in your system, and then Jameer Gibbs just is as explosive as it gets, and he's a pretty big asset when it comes to receiving game as well. So, yeah, I think that tandem is fantastic, and it's going to be a big part of why they kick the hell out of the Bears.
Yeah, and I mean on the Bears side, like I mean maybe you could make a case that they're catching some wind lately. Like they're finding ways to win with Tyson Badgett at quarterback. Of course, their last game against the Panthers was like absolutely brutal to
Yeah,
watch. I watched the second half of that game. Um, Yeah, I mean the Lions, even with this being a division rivalry, and we both know sometimes those games can get funky. There's no way that the Bears, like you said, will be in this game for more than a quarter. I think, especially if they have Amon-Ra St. Brown getting 156 yards again too.
yeah,
So, yeah, the Bears might be going into this one pretty fucked with Justin Herbert or not,
yeah. Speaking of Thursday night
or Justin
football,
Field.
yeah, just
Sorry,
I
Justin
think
Field.
I'm pretty sure he's back. But um, speaking of Thursday night football last week, I am so proud of myself for first of all not watching that game. And second of all, I didn't even know what happened in that game at all until probably like 3 p.m. the next day. And I was like beyond excited that I was able to do that. I needed to show off the self
Yeah,
control that I didn't need to know what happened in that game.
it got pretty interesting at the end, but and there was a punt return touchdown. But other than that,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody watched this game. Nobody
Yeah.
should have watched this
Yeah.
game.
Uh, this today's though might be good. We'll talk about it later after we go through the whole slate. We'll talk a little bit about Thursday night football. But let's get into the next game score predictions.
Score prediction. Yeah.
Lions Lions 31, Bears 14.
I think they're going to hold them under 30 just because it's a division rivalry game. I'm going to go Chicago 10, Detroit 24.
Okay, let's get into Chargers Packers. And this one just seems weird because, like, the Chargers defense sucks, but the Packers offense might make them look good. Like, the Chargers
Yeah,
have
I mean,
dominated all the teams with bad offenses that they've played. They've held 3 opponents to 17 points or less this season, and it's the Raiders, the Bears, and the Jets. And I think the Packers fall right in line.
they sure do. And I mean, even the Steelers game was very telling. You know, like if the
Yeah.
Steelers can get a first quarter touchdown against your team, you might be not making the playoffs. Is kind of what it seems like. Um, but yeah, this Chargers team, I think the Chargers, despite being 4-5 and kind of like, I guess like a mid tier team with not really the best defense out there. This is a game where I feel like they perfectly stack up against the Packers to absolutely run up the score against them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think the Chargers have a unique opportunity to just beat the living shit out of the Packers, and it's just a matter of if they will or if they won't. Because, like, last week was a grind, and you still lost only because you didn't have the ball last. That's really the only reason they lost that game. But
Yeah.
this game's going to be so easy for them. It feels like. It feels like the Packers defense has not been that good. It definitely should be better than what it is, but they're giving up like 20 plus every week, just about. And like even in the games that they haven't given up 20 plus, they've only won one of them. So I have a feeling the Chargers will be fine. I'm thinking like 27 to 10.
That's a good
Chargers.
score. I don't know. I think the one stat that I'm looking at here that kind of maybe goes into the favor of the Packers is the Packers have a good running back duo, like the Lions have a good running back duo, and the Lions just came off of a 200-yard rushing game against them with Montgomery and Gibbs. And I mean, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones have kind of been meh this season, but who knows? I mean, I'm just trying to, I guess, make a case, a shot in the dark here for the Packers, but they're going to get murdered,
Yeah.
like really bad. I'm going to go 31-10 Chargers.
Okay. Let's get into the next one, though. Raiders, Dolphins. And this just seems like a sure win for the Dolphins. Bad team, bad offense, and then the Dolphins are just going to drown them in points.
Drown them in the ocean. No pun
Yes.
intended. That was actually definitely pun intended. But hey, I mean, this Raiders team is 2 wins in a row, which has
Yeah.
been pretty impressive. I like how they've really just convened around their Antonio Pierce, their new head coach, because man, they were looking down bad. A lot
Yeah.
of really good players were looking down bad on this team. And they're catching Miami, after a loss, but like you said, I definitely think it's a sure win for the Dolphins, despite their loss to the Chiefs last week.
Yeah. Luckily, the Raiders aren't above 500, so the Dolphins are allowed to beat them.
Yeah.
But like looking at Miami, like health wise, they're kind of banged up coming off of this bye week. Like Wednesday, Durham Smythe, Alec Ingold, Robert Hunt, and Robert Jones all didn't practice. Those are all starters on this team. And then Teron Armstead, Raheem Mostert, and Devin Achane, who Devin Achane's coming back from the IR, but they were all limited in practice. Luckily, Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle were full participants, but those are some very important guys on this team. And maybe that hurts them a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. But like the Raiders are a feisty team. I think the Raiders could keep it pretty close. But I think the Dolphins
Fair.
ultimately win. I'm gonna take the Dolphins 20 Dolphins 27, Raiders 24.
I'm going to go 28-24 Dolphins.
Okay. Let's get into
Yep.
a division matchup, an NFC Beast matchup. Giants, Commanders. And the last time around, this game was horrible. It's going to be worse this time.
You think so?
100%. Dude, Tommy DeVito is playing quarterback in this game. It's going to be worse. Hopefully the
Versus Sam
Commanders
Howell.
yeah, hopefully the Commanders just take care of business real quick and we can just all agree not to watch the second half of this game.
Did you see the stat that the Cowboys have scored 12 touchdowns against the Giants, and the Giants have scored 12 touchdowns all season long?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons for the Giants, and I love bringing it up on the podcast because it's just I think it's hilarious how wrong was about the Giants.
Both of us were very wrong about this.
Yeah, like this is I would never have imagined a 2-8 team coming off of a pretty promising season last year. But yeah, I think like you said, it's going to be worse this time. But I feel like the Commanders are going to kill. It's going to be bad because the Commanders are going to score so many points.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like a 14-7 like it was last time. Yeah, I mean this Commanders team, they just it seems like the games they're losing are close and high scoring, and the games that they're winning are close and high scoring. So I really I don't know what to think. It's almost like the Commanders haven't played anybody that's like a lot worse than them all season long.
Yeah.
It's very weird. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Commanders in this one. I'm gonna go 24-3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go 24-10. I'll give him a touchdown. Like who would have thought the Commanders would be a 9-point favorite over the Giants at this point in the year? It's crazy. Let's get into probably a worse game. Talking about both teams being competitive. Cowboys Panthers. This one might get real ugly, real quick too. Because like Cowboys Giants last week was ugly. This one just feels like it might be worse.
Is there any chance that the Cowboys can lose this game?
I don't think so. I think Dak would have to get like his legs blown off of his body. Like the Panthers,
Dak's been playing really well.
The problem is like the Cowboys could have one of their worst offensive games of the season and still win because the Panthers have only put up more than 13 points 5 times this season and more than 23 times. And like the Cowboys, their worst game of the year was 16 points against the Cardinals, or no, 10 points against the 49ers. First of all, they're putting up more than 10 on the Panthers. They're putting up more than 16 on the Panthers. I'm confident they'll be over 20 because that's how much they put up on the Chargers. Like, it's pretty obvious they're going to win this game by quite a few points. Like Bryce Young, what is he going to do when Micah Parsons is in his face every play?
Yeah, I know.
Like, he's either going to fall to the ground or he's going to throw the ball to Stephon Gilmore or Deron Bland. Yeah, I got a feeling this one isn't going to go too well. I'm going to go Cowboys. Oh, Cowboys 34. Yeah, Cowboys 34, Panthers 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a super similar score. I'm going to go Cowboys 31, Panthers 9.
All right. A couple more games in the 1 o'clock slate. Titans, Jaguars, the 3-6, 0-5 on the road Titans against the Jaguars, who are coming off of a loss following their big win streak. Is it wrong to think that the Jaguars might not bounce back from last week as well as some would think?
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing that everybody thinks that they are, but yeah, 34-3 with a team that's, your record and a team that's coming off of 3 losses in a row and bounces back like that. Like it almost was like the 49ers were never gone to begin with.
Yeah.
You would have expected maybe even the Jaguars to win this game. With the 49ers, with their form coming into this one and, how good the Jaguars are, this was, I like how you're putting it. It was a more than brutal loss to take if you're a Jaguars fan. And, then you got a division rival with a new quarterback that, granted has he had a great game against the Steelers, in my opinion, but he did not look hot at all against the Buccaneers. I think the Titans, they could be catching a Jaguars team at a very good time right here.
Yeah. The hardest part about saying that the Titans can win is it would be their first win on the road this season.
Yeah.
That's the big hang up. Um, I think I still got to stick with the Jags, but they're not going to have like a great game. I'm going to go Jaguars 21, Titans 17.
I like that score. I'm gonna go. Oof. You know what? I'm taking the upset, Grayson. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Titans 21, Jags 20.
Okay. Our last game of the 1 o'clock slate, Cardinals Texans. And look, I don't know how I feel about the Cardinals right now. Obviously, I'm pissed off at them from last week, but like if I were to attempt to truly figure out how I felt about the Cardinals, it would probably cause me to have like an existential crisis. It's like, are they a
Oh
good
man.
team? Are they a good team with Kyler? Is Kyler a good player? Are the Falcons just not good? Do the Cardinals not want a top 3 pick? Do they want a top 3 pick? I don't know what the deal is in Arizona. All I know is that the Texans have the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Wow.
CJ Stroud
He
is
said it.
fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, I watched this Texans Bengals game while I was watching the Steelers game actually. Um, yeah, it's just crazy what they look like now with a good run game.
Yeah.
If Devin Singletary can do even half of that every game, which is better than Damon Pierce, they're going to win most of the rest of their games probably.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a hard team to stop. I know that we've both kind of criticized their defense this year, the Texans, but honestly, for what they did against the Bengals in certain situations, they looked pretty good in my opinion. And honestly, if CJ Stroud doesn't fumble the ball twice and throw his second pick of the season in Week 9, they probably kill this Bengals team
Yeah.
in this game. It probably looks a lot worse. And I liked how you put it last week, going back to the Cardinals and Falcons game, where the Falcons just haven't really had the chance to prepare for a lot of the quarterbacks that they've been playing against, like Will Levis, Kyler Murray, and even to add to that, James Conner came back and played this game, and he had a pretty good game coming off of injury.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can kind of asterisk this win for the Cardinals, but Kyler looked okay. His scrambling ability is always going to be there. Trey McBride had the best game of all time for any tight end, it seemed like. But the Texans are going to win. But this is going to be interesting to see how the Cardinals play them.
Yeah. Like, I think, prior to Kyler coming back and prior to the Cardinals winning that game last week, I probably would have said, like, the Texans would have been favored by 7.5 with the way they've been playing. With Kyler coming back and how that team and James Conner coming back, how they've looked, they're now a 4.5 point underdog, which I think seems fair to the Texans. They've been great, but the fact that the Cardinals are up there and the fact that the over-under is set at 48.5, so they're definitely not scared to say that the Cardinals can put up points.
Yeah.
I think the Texans win. I just think it's like the Cardinals are going to put on another good offensive showing.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know how I feel about that over under though. I'm going under. If I'm betting, I'm going under on that game.
I don't know, man. It just takes one. Like, think about it. If the Texans win 28-24, it's an over.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually kind of how I see it going, or at least pretty close to that. I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm still gonna get an over, but I'm gonna go 28-21 Texans.
I'm going to go 28-17 Texans. I want to see a couple more games before I start putting, Kyler getting past 20 points, I think, with that offense.
Fair enough. You already did it once, though. All right. The what? He did. He did it last week.
One time. One time.
Yeah. You said you got
It's
to
the
wait a couple
Falcons.
weeks before you start saying he's going to do it. And don't say it's the Falcons. What the fuck?
I will say, yeah, y'all do have y'all are like top 5 in like most defensive stats. So I mean that's fair, but
Yeah.
um I want to see if he can do it consistently.
Fair.
How about that?
Okay, let's
Yeah,
get into the
that's what I
next
mean.
matchup. Buccaneers, 49ers. We get into the 4 o'clock slate. And the 49ers are so back, dude. They're so back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even considering Tampa having a chance in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even need McCaffrey to, keep scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, his streak came to an end. And they're still
It
favored by
finally did.
11 and a half against the Buccaneers, who haven't been bad this season.
No, definitely taken a turn for the worse though for them. I thought that they were going to finish much better, but
Yeah.
sitting at 4-5, it's not really looking like that.
Well, they could still win this division. The Saints are in first place right now at 5-5.
Oh yeah, I guess that is true. Damn, I don't know how to feel about this game either. We have really two good defenses going up against each other here, but if Brock Purdy, throws 3 touchdowns and no picks again, it's going to be hard. I
Yeah.
don't know if the Buccaneers offense is going to be able to keep up with that. And see, Christian McCaffrey still had a good game. If he gets a touchdown, then we're really looking at a bad game, I think, for the Buccaneers. If we're kind of going off of how they played last week.
Yeah.
But on the Buccaneers side, I think, you've definitely found your running back one in Rachaad White. He looks great. Not really great against the Titans, but he still is very, very good in the receiving game, so he kind of offsets it there. Yeah, I mean, Mike Evans is still good. I mean, do you think the Buccaneers have a chance to win this game?
No, not at all. Look, the thing is that, like, the Buccaneers are going to score somewhere from like 17 to 23 points, most likely. I just am so confident that the 49ers can put up more than that.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah,
what it
that's
comes
fair.
down to, is like the 49ers defense is fantastic, that to the point where, like, Rachaad White's going to have an issue running the ball and Baker's going to have an issue throwing the ball. Like, I don't see the Buccaneers getting more than 17 points max against them, based on how the 49ers played last week. And
Yeah.
I think the offense is just consistent enough. If Purdy stays like he did last week and like he did before that 3-game skid, he'll be fine. McCaffrey's fine. It's not like he had a bad game last week. He just didn't find the end zone. So yeah, I think the 49ers walk pretty easily. I'm going to go 49ers 27, Buccaneers 14.
I'm going to go 49ers 31, Buccaneers 16.
Okay. Yeah, next game, Jets Bills. This one's weird. It's like I've never. First of all, let's do the whole from the perspective of myself before the season started. This would be a fantastic matchup to watch.
Yes, it would.
This is a absolute mid off, dude. Like, this is just so bad. And it's like, interestingly, a must win for both teams.
Yeah, they're
Like,
both, right there at 500.
yeah, and like the Bills need to bounce back from last week, and they got to put some wins together, just really for confidence. Like, you just fired your offensive coordinator, you just lost the heartbreaker because you put too many guys on the field on a hurried up field goal attempt to win the game, and like your whole team is in disarray. And then the Jets need to capitalize on some of the teams that are in bad positions and hopefully get to a point where when Rodgers comes back, he can lead them to a playoff spot. Because like when you look at the Jets schedule, it's not simple, but like they can get 5 wins out of it and be over a 500 team. That's not impossible. Like, okay, if they can beat the Bills this week, we'll say they lose to the Dolphins probably pretty handedly the week after. I think they can beat the Falcons. So that's 2 wins if they beat the Bills this week. The Texans probably beat them. But then the next week is about where it looks like Rodgers could be coming back, and they play the Dolphins again. If they can beat the Dolphins there, they can beat the Commanders, they can beat the Browns, they can beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like they could be in a very
I
good spot to where like they only lose 2 to 3 games after this if they win this Bills game, and it puts them in a great spot. If they lose this game, they're now 4-6, and essentially you can only lose 2 more games for the rest of the season.
yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely crunch time for them. But this also is the Jets team that couldn't beat the Raiders
Yeah,
with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback.
yeah. That
um,
game sucked.
yeah, yeah, it did suck. I don't even know how to feel about this Jets team anymore, man. Like this poor defense, and then they're taking on the Bills, who are like just getting shit on. All of my feed is just shitting on the Bills right now for how they
Yeah.
lost on Monday.
Oh
Still,
yeah.
and they have a lot of questions to be asked too. Like now, people are wondering if Josh Allen is sorry. Like I'm seeing ESPN debates like on First Take of
Yeah.
like, he's had so many turnovers. He's led the league in turnovers since like 2018 or something crazy like that, or maybe it was interceptions. But yeah, a lot of people are starting to question Josh Allen's ability, which I
Yeah.
don't know if that's fair or not for him.
I don't
I
know.
don't know how to feel about that.
It's weird because like you can point to a lot of things with Josh Allen and be like, well, that's why he was good. Like he had a great connection with Brian Dable as the offensive coordinator, and then we did see a little bit of a decline last year, and obviously one into this year. But the thing is, like, he's always thrown picks. Like he's never just
Yeah.
gonna not throw picks. He's a good football player, and he has to take chances. Sometimes they don't pay off. That happens to everybody. But like it just seems like something was different this year. Like it was way worse than what we are used to with Josh Allen. We thought things were trending in the right direction. I think we already knew Ken Dorsey wasn't the best offensive coordinator, but like things were working out for Buffalo as a whole. Like, it's not just Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. You have other guys to throw to on this team, like Dalton Kincaid and totally blanking on their other tight end's name.
Dawson Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox. And then like James Cook is starting to look great, but last week he fumbles for the first time since his first NFL carry, and you benched him. Like the game management by just the whole coaching staff was brutal. That's probably why Ken Dorsey got fired. But when it comes to Josh Allen's case, it's like I don't think we can point the finger at him too much without understanding that he's not like significantly worse than he has, like his rookie year and his second year in the league when he wasn't that good. But he's not playing at the elite level that we're used to, and that pisses people off and just makes them turn on him. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Dude, did you see the play where James Cook fumbled and then picked it right back up in
Yeah,
his stride and carried it like that? That was
that was
ridiculous.
pretty cool.
Big James Cook guy over here. And I hated that they benched him the way that they did. But yeah, Bills Jets. It's a rival game. Both of these teams are coming off of just horrible losses. And honestly, looking at Josh Allen's stats against the Broncos are a good defense, but he, didn't really look that great. Under 200 yards passing, more picks than touchdowns. None of his receivers really went off for him. Stephon was kept in check. Dalton Kincaid was really the only guy that had like a pretty good game. I think this is going to be one of those score predictions where it's going to be what I want to happen. I think the Jets are going to take this one. I don't know. I don't know because no, it's gonna be the Bills. It's gonna be the Bills.
Yeah.
24-13 Bills.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go oh, 21-17 Bills. I don't even know if I want to go that high for the Bills. Just because
Yeah,
new
that's where I was
OC.
stuck.
I'll go 21-17 Bills. All right,
Nice.
our next game, our second to last or third to last, yeah, third to last game. Seahawks versus Rams, and I don't know why, but I'm kind of starting to turn on both of these teams.
Why is that?
I don't know. Like Seattle isn't great, I guess. Like the last two games have kind of thrown me for a loop with them. Because, like, obviously they got dominated by the Ravens. But
Yeah.
last week against the Commanders was so weird. Like, that game was just all over the place. And they were at home. Like, they probably should have won, which they did. They probably should have won by more. Like, the Commanders weren't fantastic in that game. So, I don't know what it is about the Seahawks that I'm just not liking, but there's obvious things to not like about this Rams team. Considering we've watched a couple of weeks without Matt Stafford, pretty sure he's coming back. Hopefully this week, and that'll help him out. But like Puka has slowed down quite a bit, especially in the absence of Matthew Stafford, and Cooper Kupp in the games, even with Stafford, hasn't been fantastic.
No.
They still don't have their running backs. It's just a hard team to watch right now, considering we're so high on them despite their record early in the season. Now they're at 3-6 and it looks unattainable. I think, the Seahawks are probably going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be like a great game to watch.
No, I don't think so either, man. The Rams we were so high on the Rams a couple weeks ago, man.
Yeah.
the Puka Nakua train, we were on it. And we were ready to ride, baby, but it's it baffles me like how shit all of their wide receiver stats have looked since, Matthew Stafford getting hurt. And Cooper Kupp, man, I don't even know what to say about him. I could never have imagined him, consistently putting up stats like how he has been, because it has not been very good at all.
Yeah.
And on the Seahawks side, Geno has just been so back and forth. He looked really great against the Commanders, didn't look great at all against the Ravens, which obviously two very different teams there. But and then even their run game, Kenneth Walker has really just taken a step back. He was much better, in my opinion, his rookie year.
He was also getting more usage.
He definitely was getting the ball more. And they just have not been going that route, hence why Geno Smith is throwing 47 times. And even if you look at DK Metcalf, like, is it fair to say that Tyler Lockett's been their best wide receiver this season?
Yeah, I think he's definitely been the most consistent.
Yes, and then you have Jackson Smith and Jigba, who you drafted in the first round, who just recently started playing well.
Yeah.
It's just been it's been a strange season for Seattle, but I think they're going to take it against the Rams. Like you said, not going to be a fun game to watch. I'm going to go 17-6, Seattle.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go 24-10, Seattle. I don't trust Stafford coming back from this injury.
No, I don't either.
All right, Sunday Night Football. Vikings versus Broncos. I like this game. I do.
Me too.
It might be the most intriguing matchup of the week.
It's going to be interesting to see how these fare. Both these teams are hot right now.
Yeah, like we're getting the return, most likely, of Justin Jefferson. But overall, like the Vikings are a little banged up. Like Madison still hasn't cleared concussion protocol. Not that they were going to use him in an effective manner at all. And then you have obviously Justin Jefferson, but also T.J. Hawkinson were limited in practice on Wednesday, and then Dobbs was a full participant, but he's having some ankle issues. So the Vikings are a little banged up coming into this, and I think it really helps the chances of the Broncos, who, look, despite the struggles, Russell Wilson, yeah, maybe he doesn't throw for a ton of yards, but 18 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Like, the guy's already got more touchdowns this season, like, so far this season than he had all last year. That's big.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's only thrown 4 interceptions means, like, he's not playing that bad. I know he's not getting yards, but he's finding guys in the end zone. He's allowing Javonte Williams and the rest of that running running back crew to just get them down the field. Like last week, Russell didn't have to have a lot of yards, and neither did the running backs because Josh Allen was either throwing a pick or they were like punting out of their end zone every time. And the Broncos just started their drive at the 50-yard line every single time. And they would just like move up 15 yards and kick a field goal. So, like, they didn't have to do that much, and it still got them a win against a team that nobody was really anticipating them beating. Now, they're at home, and they're a 2.5-point favorite over a Vikings team that is hot.
Yeah. So your past couple games for the Vikings, you have the 49ers game, which is where Kirk got hurt, correct?
I believe Kirk got hurt against the Packers.
Let me double check.
I think it was right at the end of the Packers game.
Yes, you're right. Kirk did play the Packers game. So Vikings have definitely, they've won a lot of games in a row. Like I said, 5-game win streak, very, very impressive. They're the only team that has, more than like 3 games to add to their win streak. But Josh Dobbs hasn't seen a defense like the Broncos yet.
Yeah.
This is, I think, probably one of his bigger tests, especially being primetime, playing under the lights on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, you're right. This one's going to be a very good game, especially with how the Broncos have looked as well. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this one either. I guess if you're Minnesota, try your best to run the ball effectively. Ty Chandler, got into the end zone last week. Didn't really have the best game, but did score a touchdown. And if you're the Broncos, I think as long as they don't turn the ball over, it's going to be a super, super close game.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. If the Broncos hold on to the ball, we know they can run the ball. Javonte Williams has actually been pretty good, despite not really having seen too much out of him. And like Cortland Sutton has been very good in the red zone. Like they're only targeting him, maybe 7 or 8 times in a game, but he's kind of just like been good for 3 or 4 receptions and a touchdown every game.
Yep.
So just kind of keep using your weapons and keep playing good enough defense. Like they don't have to play fantastic defense. It just needs to be good enough. If you can hold the Vikings to 20 points, you got a chance to win because the Vikings defense isn't that great.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Broncos, slowing the momentum of the Vikings. Yeah, I'm gonna go Broncos. Broncos 24, Vikings 20.
I'm going to go 24-21.
Okay.
Vikings. Or no, Broncos. Sorry. Broncos.
All right. Monday Night
Broncos.
Football. Possibly one of the best matchups of the year and one of the most anticipated. Obviously, a Super Bowl rematch between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, the Kelsey brothers facing off. Don't know if Taylor Swift will be there. We'll have to see. Does she have a show on Monday? Let's see.
If she's not there, I'm not watching the game.
Yep.
You too?
Yeah. I'll stand in solidarity. She'll be there.
Oh, so
she'll be there. And I'm pretty sure she's bringing her parents.
Uh-oh. Are they meeting the parents now?
Well, Travis already met her dad at least. How
do you know that?
It's all over social media, dude. I can't avoid this.
Oh, yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
How was the new Eras Tour movie, Grayson, when you saw it?
I didn't watch it. I don't know, I don't think I know a single song title off of her most recent album. It's called Midnight, right? Midnight?
Yeah, Midnights, but I can't name a song.
I don't know
either.
a single song.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the last Taylor Swift song that I know the title of, and Shake It Off might be the last one I know. I think that's embarrassing. It's not like I think I should know more than that. Just being like somebody that enjoys listening to music, I should know more than that.
Yeah. I honestly kind of enjoyed her Lover album. I'm not gonna lie.
Didn't know that existed. Might have to listen.
It's probably her best one. I think it's her best one.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about football. Um,
Yeah, football.
Kansas City, a 2.5-point favorite. The Eagles are so weird to me because I said on this podcast that I didn't know who the best team in the NFL is, knowing damn well that that's me saying the Chiefs aren't the best team in the NFL. And I
Yeah.
don't know. I genuinely don't know. I said it, I think, on Monday's episode. It was my stake your claim that I didn't know if or that there is not a best team in the NFL right now. And I'm going to stand by that, but the Chiefs just don't seem right to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not. It's
I
not.
know.
They haven't like kicked it in gear yet, despite being 7-2 and having a big win last week or 2 weeks ago before their bye week over in Germany against the Dolphins. They've won big games, but it's like it just doesn't seem right. It seems like they should be putting up more points. It seems like they should be like undefeated at this point, but like the loss to the Lions and then you have the loss to the Broncos. It's so weird. But then on the Eagles side, it's like they haven't been beating not good teams by a lot of points. Like they haven't really been beating anybody by a lot of points. And that doesn't
No.
seem right. But also it's like Jalen Hurts is kind of banged up. And there's so many question marks surrounding both of these teams at this point in the season, despite them both being the number one seed in their conferences right now. And I just don't know what to think. I really don't.
I
Yeah,
I think I like Philly coming off of the bye week, but
they're
on the
both
other
both
end,
coming off a bye week.
oh yeah, duh. I'm sorry, yeah, no, you're definitely right. And they're both coming off pretty big wins too. With
Yeah,
Dallas beating their division rival, and then the Dolphins, who are up there right with them in the conversation for best teams. I would say. Um, Yeah, I don't know because to add to you, it doesn't really seem like Patrick Mahomes has had like the most like kind of light you up score lines.
yeah,
I honestly there's definitely an argument to be made that Sam Howell has put up more impressive quarterback games than Patrick Mahomes.
yeah.
Just stat
Patrick
wise.
Mahomes just been, first of all, nobody's calling out Josh Allen for throwing 11, or everybody's calling out Josh Allen for throwing 11 picks. Patrick Mahomes thrown 8 picks.
Yeah,
I'm just,
he's up
I
there.
don't know. He's one to look at in that statistic, surprisingly.
He is.
Like,
Oh man.
that's a lot. 8 picks when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, of course. Um, but
In 9
like,
games too.
yeah, that doesn't seem right. But I still think Kansas City just has this edge to them that nobody else does, especially when they're playing at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, but I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Philly, 31-28, Philadelphia.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go lower scoring. I'm gonna go Chiefs 20. Yeah, Chiefs 24, Eagles 23.
Okay.
A lot of field goals for the Eagles in this one.
Yes, Jake Elliott, MVP.
I think the Chiefs will slow down the run quite a bit. And with Hurts not being quite as mobile as he has been in the past with that injury, I think the Chiefs can at least shut them down by field goal range. All right. Well, that's the week. Let's talk a little bit about the Thursday night football matchup that's happening tonight as we're recording. It'll already have been settled
Ooh.
by the time the listeners are hearing this, but we have Bengals Ravens, a big division matchup. Two teams that hate each other, just like all of the other AFC North teams hate each other. Actually, both
It's brutal.
all the AFC North teams playing each other this week. But
Yep.
this Bengals Ravens game actually is probably going to be good. Like, I know the Bengals
Oh
lost
yeah,
last
I
week in
know.
a close one to the Texans, but the Ravens lost last week in a close one to the Browns. So, yeah, it's this one's going to be good, I think.
Finally, a good Thursday night football game,
Yeah.
Grayson. Finally. Um, Man, I don't. I just think I think the Ravens defense is what's going to prevail here. I don't know how. It's the first time they're playing each other this season, right?
I
The
believe
Ravens and the
so.
Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know how this kind of like new iffy Joe
No,
Burrow
they
is going to
played.
look.
They
That's
played
what I'm
week 2.
calling.
They
Oh,
played week
okay,
2.
gotcha. Actually, I want to go back to that game real fast.
27-24 Ravens, I believe.
27-24 Ravens. So yeah, I mean this is just going to be a good one. AFC North coming down to the wire. You have a 7-3 division leader in the Ravens, 2 6-3 teams in the Browns and the Steelers, and then a 5-4 Bengals. So I think if the season ended today, we would have 3 AFC North teams in the
Believe so.
playoffs, I believe. Um, but no, this one's just going to be interesting. Do you think it's going to be high scoring?
Kind of. Both teams will score in like the 20s for sure.
Okay, gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
it's tough to say. Like the Ravens obviously have so much going for them, but the Bengals, despite the loss last week, are a hot team. They have good things going for them. Like none of the Bengals players just played like horrible last week. They just kind of got outplayed. It was kind of similar to like what I said about the Lions Chargers, where it was just when it came to Texans Bengals, the Texans had the ball last. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I think this one's gonna be interesting. I think the Ravens pull away with it just because of the defense. Like they're gonna get big stops and big moments. Um, I think that's gonna be a game changer. So I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Ravens 27, Bengals 21.
We're I'm kind of thinking about it now, and I'm actually not gonna bet against Joe Burrow when it matters most, and I feel like you're playing Baltimore, you're 5-4. The rest of the division is you're last in the division. I'm not gonna bet against Burrow in this game. I think I'm gonna go the Bengals here. 28-24 Bengals.
Okay, it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting. Well, if we're both, well, I guess we can't both be wrong on who wins. Um, but if this game sucks, I apologize since you've already watched it, gone through that whole thing. Um, I apologize, but that is NFL Week 11. Getting close to start talking about playoff pictures.
That's
It's gonna
crazy. It's
be it's
flown
gonna be a
by.
big deal in a couple of weeks. But we'll keep you guys all up to date. For now, it's MLB awards time. Obviously, we did all of our awards predictions last week, but the All-MLB team finalists came out earlier this week, and it's going to be fun to go through and see if we have some discrepancies because it was hard for the MLB awards to even find things that we said were wrong, but there's a lot of options when it comes to the all MLB teams. So we'll start at first base. Um, I already put in my vote for the day. So I already put my whole team in. So my first baseman is Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves.
Um, Yeah, I mean, 54 home runs would, get you on the list,
Yeah,
definitely.
139 RBIs.
And I'm gonna go with Pete Alonso. Just kidding. That was a joke.
Good.
I hate that he's on this list. I don't like this guy. I went with Freddie. I just, it was hard not to go with Matt Olson. Just offensively and defensively strong, both players. I just think Freddie's stats are a little bit more well-rounded than his,
Yeah, like
which is
Matt
why I
Olson
chose.
struck out a lot. I can
Yeah,
definitely say that with confidence. But to me, like the biggest thing, considering both of them like hit in a similar spot in the lineup, they play a similar role on similarly good teams. The fact that Matt Olson had 37 more RBIs is crazy.
yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
So yeah, that's why I went with Matt over Freddie. Um,
Right.
all right, it's second base. This one was tough. Like nobody stuck out to me.
Really?
Yeah, like okay, I ended up going with Ozzy Albies, and it's all based on the fact that to me it was down to him and Simeon because Altuve didn't play enough games. Luis Arias is the most boring fucking player to watch ever. Um, so like to me it was up to Ozzy and Marcus Simeon, and when you look at the numbers, it's just a matter of Ozzy one upped him in a lot of statistics, and
Yeah.
I value that heavily. So I had to go with Ozzy.
I actually went with Jose Altuve on this one, despite the games. I felt like he played enough games, to definitely to at least make this list. Finished with a better batting average, a better OPS, um, more stolen bases. I would have honestly liked to have seen how many home runs and RBIs he could have had if he played a full season, but I went with Altuve, but it was close between him and Ozzy for me.
Yeah, I
And then Marcus Semien was an MVP candidate.
yeah, which I don't
So
think he deserved it at all.
no, no.
I think that was ridiculous. But let's move on to the next one. It's shortstop. Who'd you have?
I went with Corey Seager in
Okay,
this one.
yeah,
Just,
he's
I
the only
mean,
option.
yeah.
Like
But
it's like what? Who's second? Bo Bichette? Bobby Witt Jr. is maybe the best second option.
you're asking tough questions here, Grayson.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's obviously Corey Seager. Bobby Witt is close. I think the closest. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say he's
I,
close.
I like I like Gunner too. I like Gunner a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. 255 average is tough.
It is tough. It's very tough.
But yeah, I feel like we don't even need to explain anything. Corey Seager hit 327, 33 home runs, 96 RBIs, and had over 1,000 OPS. Those
Yeah,
numbers kind of speak for themselves. So at third base,
very much.
one of my hardest ones to choose. I was stuck between Devers and Austin Riley. And then I decided I wanted to factor in defense, so I went to Baseball Savant. I looked at some in-depth numbers, and the biggest one to me is I believe it's called defensive run value, something close to that. Or
Okay.
fielding run value is what it's called. Rafael Devers was like a -8, and Austin Riley was a 0. So I went with Austin Riley.
Okay. Gotcha. I went with Rafael Devers here. Um,
I don't
but
blame
yeah,
you.
for me too, it was also between Rafael Devers and Austin Riley. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like Ramirez kind of deserves to be in this discussion, but for
Yeah.
some reason I looked at his name and it just never even crossed my mind that he was better than Rafael Devers and Austin Riley this season.
Yeah,
But
I
his
think.
stats are there.
Oh yeah, the stats are definitely there. It's just his team was so bad that like he didn't deserve recognition to most people, and I don't think we
Yeah.
really heard about him all that much. But like the
Mm-mm.
fact that he's a third baseman stealing 28 bags is crazy. Um, but it's like okay, Devers had an elite offensive season. He's doing exactly what third basemen are supposed to do, which is hit for power and hit just above 270. Same goes for Riley. I just think Riley's glove was a little bit bigger for me.
Yep. That's fair.
Catcher is a tough one. It is very tough. First of all, none of them are like an amazing option. Like I had it down to like 5 guys at first. I had like 5 people in my mind. I was like, yeah, it could be Sean Murphy, it could be JT Realmuto, it could be Jonah Heim. No, well, it could be William Contreras and Adley Rutschman. I finally got down to William Contreras and Adley Rutschman. That's who I narrowed it down to. I
Okay.
thought JT didn't have a good enough season. Thought Sean Murphy didn't play enough games, nor have the stats. I thought Jonah Heim was great, um, just not quite as good as William and Adley.
Okay.
Uh,
So who are you picking?
I went with William Contreras.
Okay. You said that, didn't you?
No, no, that
Oh,
was the
okay.
first
My
time I
bad. My
said it.
bad. Um. No, similar to you, I was also between two people, except I was between Jonah Heim and Adley Rutschman. Wait, did you say that you had Jonah Heim there, or you just made a case for him?
He was up there.
Okay, yeah. Jonah Heim really just off of defense capabilities, but then looking at Adley, the offense is there, and maybe he didn't have the defensive stats, but in my opinion, Adley Rutschman is more than capable of playing defense like Jonah Heim can. So I went with Adley here. I really like the season that he had.
All right, yeah. Like I said, I don't blame you at all. Like William and Adley's defensive statistics actually lined up really well. I'm echoing through
Oh wow,
your mic thing now.
of course. But now,
Maybe I don't know. It doesn't seem like I am. But back to what I'm saying. No, I am. Yeah, I'm echoing.
damn it, dude. Why does it always do it at
Yeah.
like a certain point in
Yeah,
the podcast?
it does. It takes about an hour, and then it starts doing it. I'm not even going to cut this part out because I don't feel like it. Because I want you guys to understand that this happened last week as well, and I cut it out of the
This
podcast.
is my punishment. I get to be.
Luke gets publicly shamed for not putting headphones on. I always have my headphones on, so I'm going to take it out on him in this manner. But yeah, back to what I was saying. You can hear me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, look, I had no problems with Adley's defensive statistics. I had no problem with Williams. Like, to me, the jump that William Contreras made from the first however many years he was with the Braves, I think it was 3 or 4, to this first year with the Brewers was ridiculous. He went from like a far negative defensive or like catcher to a plus bat, like one of the best hitting catchers in the league, one of the best frame rates in the league, a ton of blocks above average, all that. Whereas Adley, yes, in a bigger sample size than last season, took a step back in a couple of statistics, but had a better bat. So yeah, that's kind of why I ended up going with William.
I like that. You even took into account when he played for your team. That's
Yes,
nice.
correct.
Good take. Good take.
All right. The easiest one ever. DH.
Yeah. I went with Marcelo Zona from Nabre.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no, it was we were talking about it pre-recording, and it's just like Grayson and I agreed on the fact that it's ridiculous that we can sit here and see names like Jordan, Bryce Harper, and honestly even JD Martinez and Justin Turner, and be like, Shohei is obviously the choice here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went with Shohei.
Yeah, me too. And like, I'm not even factoring in the fact that he pitches. I'm factoring the fact that he hit over 300 as a designated hitter and still had 44 home runs and 95 RBIs. And he missed the whole last month of the season.
Were him and Corey Seager the only players in the MLB with an OPS over the 1 point?
I think Freddie might have, or Acuna definitely did. So did Judge, but I don't think Judge's OPS was qualified. Freddie might have though.
Okay.
No, Freddie was just below. So
so it's those 3.
Yeah.
Dang. But yeah, Shohei obviously the choice here.
Yeah, same. I think like Harper, once again, it's just a games played thing. I think Jordan, JD, and Marcelo Ozuna have their case here. Considering they all had pretty similar stats. Ozuna, the most home runs out of the group. JD Martinez, the most RBIs. Jordan, the best average and best OPS. But yeah, I think it just has to go to Shohei.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Let's talk outfield. We get 3 outfielders. You go ahead, just say your 3. And then
your 3. You don't want to go back and forth on one, or just all 3 collectively? We'll okay. I went with Acuna, Kyle Tucker, and Juan Soto. That was my 3.
He left out Mookie Betts. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I went Acuna, Mookie Betts, and Kyle Tucker.
We almost had it there.
How did you leave out Mookie? How?
Looking at it now, I may have made a mistake
Okay.
looking at all these guys, but
Juan
yeah,
Soto
no.
had a
Let
great
me.
year. I don't blame you at all for taking him, but like Mookie just was better at like everything
Yeah,
except
no. We're gonna
obviously
go.
walks.
I'm gonna match you.
Okay.
I didn't even look at Mookie's name whenever I
Okay.
was looking at this list. So
Cool.
yeah, definitely Acuna, Kyle Tucker, and Mookie Betts are on a different level. But how about Cody Bellinger? He
Yeah, he
finished
was
so
real
well.
close. So close.
He really was. Um, Kind of weird. Adolis Garcia, I didn't even really think about him because of that 245 average. Even though
Yeah.
it's not about batting average, but that just was a little bit too low for him. I
Yeah.
mean, at least get it in like the 260s, right?
Yeah.
But
There's one guy here that it will genuinely piss me off if he wins, like if he gets a spot in the first team, and it's Aaron Judge.
oh, here we go.
I don't know. Like I get what he did in his sample size was great, but it was a small sample size. When you consider that there is guys that stayed healthy for 160 games or 158 games that they played, I think that actually matters when it comes down to who was a better player this season.
Yep, and Aaron Judge still hit more home runs than all of them. Well, most of them.
Not Acuna
Um,
or Mookie.
no, not Acuna or Mookie or Luis Robert. To be fair to
Yes.
all
Or
those
Adolis
guys.
Garcia. Or
Yeah,
Kyle
or
Schwarber.
Adolis Garcia. Kyle,
Just
oh
going
yeah,
down the
Kyle Schwarber
list.
hit 47. uh, how about Julio Rodriguez though? A
He's
guy who
close.
didn't fall to the sophomore slump
Yeah, he did at first. He was bad
at
at
first.
first.
Yeah,
But getting, kind of getting to like the All-Star game and the home run derby, he turned the fuck up. And like that 2 week
yeah,
span where he was just absurd. Um
ridiculous,
yeah, he was great.
ridiculous.
He definitely had a chance to kind of get up there. I think there's some guys that are pretty sneaky. Like Fernando Tatis had a really good year considering
Yeah,
the time he missed. I'm sure there
good
was
year
some
defensively too.
yeah, fantastic year defensively. Um Anthony Santander, 95 RBIs this season was great. Um, yeah, let's get into the pitching though.
I'm excited about this one.
We get 5 starters, and this might have been the hardest list ever.
It was very difficult.
um, I'll go ahead and just run through my list of pitchers, and then you can go through yours. So I've got Garrett Cole, Blake Snell, your 2 Cy Young winners, and then I have Justin Steele of the Cubs, Kevin Gausman of the Blue Jays, and Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks.
Damn, we both had Cole and Snell, but went a completely different direction
Really?
after that.
Okay.
Yeah, I went Cole, Snell, Kershaw.
Oh,
Um,
not
I
bad.
went with Spencer Strider just because he struck out God and everybody.
And he
Like
won 20
his
games.
and he won 20 games. His ERA was high, and I that almost ended it for me. But like 281 strikeouts, come on, that's like
That's ridiculous.
that is so much more than whoever has second. I don't even know who it is,
I believe
but
Kevin
it's
Gausman was second with 237.
yeah, which is just right in front of Pablo Lopez with 234.
Yeah.
And then I actually went with Logan Webb.
Hmm. Not bad. Yeah, look, Logan
Yes.
Webb actually had a very good year. His team just lost so much when he was on the
Yeah.
mound.
I was whenever I made this list, I was trying to after I got like Cole, Snell, and Kershaw out of the way, I was trying to balance like strikeouts and ERA, and Logan Webb to me was like one of the better. Well, actually, if I was doing that, it would have been Kodai Senga.
Yeah, I was about to say the
Senga,
same thing. A 2.98 ERA and 202 strikeouts is just simply
yeah.
better than Logan Webb.
Let's go ahead and get Logan Webb out of there and put
Okay,
Kodai because I like Kodai a lot better.
cool.
Yep. So Cole, Snell, Kershaw, Strider, Kodai.
Yeah. Um, there's like it's an infinite list of guys I almost picked, but Eovaldi was real close for me, but the ERA kind of fucked it up. Obviously
Yep.
Spencer Strider was like the first one out. Um, Clayton Kershaw was super close to making it for me. Zach Wheeler super close to making it. Sonny Gray had a fantastic year. Merrill Kelly almost made it for me as well, but I would
Yep.
have needed a little lower ERA. for 187 strikeouts. But just like in general, so many great starting pitchers this season. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, for real. I was
Kyle Bradish as
all
well.
these yeah, all of these guys on this list were awesome. Pablo Lopez too. Really
Yeah.
liked him. Really liked Pablo. But yeah, no, and Sonny Gray kind of making like a comeback almost. Is it fair to say that he kind of made a comeback in his
Yeah.
career?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I think of Sonny Gray, I just think of him in pinstripes, and I actually want to throw up.
Oh, we didn't even talk
But I
about
mean, he's
Shohei
freaking
Ohtani.
fantastic.
Shohei Ohtani was a great starting pitcher
Oh
this year.
yeah, he was an okay player overall.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Let's get into the last part. We get 2 relief pitchers, which includes closers. This one was really hard. I think there was one obvious one to me, and then I had to pick another.
Hmm. All
You go.
right.
You go ahead with your
Uh,
2.
so I'm doing relief pitchers first.
Well, you get one. Like it's just relief pitchers.
Yeah, no, you're right. But are we saying the closing pitcher though with it all? Like, are we doing it as a group of three or
No,
no?
you only get 2. They're all grouped in together.
Oh, I think I was reading off the prep sheet because you have relief pitcher, closing pitcher.
Yeah, as in they're part of the same 2.
I understand. I understand. I
Do you want
understand.
me to go ahead?
Um, no. I'm
Okay,
good because
okay.
I can easily eliminate one of my guys
Okay.
here. I went with Johan Duran as my relief pitcher and Josh Hader as my closing pitcher.
Okay. Not bad. Yeah.
What'd you
I
do?
kind of picked 2 closers. Just because that's how the voting is set up.
That's yeah.
So I went with Felix Bautista, like just a ridiculous pitcher this season. When you have
Yep.
under a 1 whip and you have 33 saves, you had a ridiculous season. And then
Yeah.
same goes for Devin Williams. Under a 1 whip, 36 saves. Yeah, both of them just ridiculously good. Devin Williams kind of stepping into the closing role for one of the first times in his career. Um, late last year, he took it over when Hader got traded. But yeah, 36 saves for Devin Williams is crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of saves. Manuel Clase,
Yeah.
really high ERA, but the most saves on the list, I think, correct?
Yeah, 44 saves, and then Camilo Doval, I believe, was in second with 39.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Love it.
think there's a lot of guys that have a case for it. And like not to sleep on like the relievers. Sean Armstrong for the Rays was a fantastic setup, man. Yennier Cano was easily one of the best just relief pitchers in general. He could go multiple innings at a time. And then kind of settled into the setup role. And then when Felix went out, was the closer and did a great job at all of them.
Yeah.
Aroldis Chapman was striking out people at will, as per usual. Yeah, just a lot of very good relievers. Pete Fairbanks kind of came out of nowhere and had a 1.01 whip and 25 saves this season, even though I think he got injured at some point. Jordan Romano was great for the Blue Jays for quite a bit of the season. Paul Sewald was a great reliever, closer, I guess, for the Diamondbacks, but just overall, a lot of dominant closing and relief pitching this season.
Yeah, I love Ryan Presley too. He was very close to making my list.
Yeah, Josh Hader as well, very close.
Yep.
All right, well that's the All-MLB teams. Yeah, that's kind of that's all I've got. Like, I believe it all gets announced on Monday. Voting ends on Sunday. I would assume it gets announced on. Oh no, okay. Voting ends on Monday or Sunday, and it gets announced on December 16th.
What the fuck?
So yeah, I guess it takes them a while to count all the votes. Because I get okay. So fan voting is 50% of what determines it. The other 50% is a baseball media panel vote.
And baseball and them letting the media control everything, like
Pretty
with
fucking
journalists
annoying.
voting on stuff.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like, I just realized that. Like, why don't why is the MLB like the only American sports league that has like I don't know, the media just has so much of an influence in the game there. I feel like
I have
it's
no
weird.
explanation. Probably just because it's such a shit organization. Um, I'll take any chance to just
Yeah.
bite back at the MLB. Um, yeah, I don't think I have any other MLB stuff to really talk about right now. No free agent signings have really happened of value, or anything quite, detrimental to the game. I think I heard something about a possible rule change, like shortening the clock when there's runners on base or something. I don't know.
Oh wow.
It's some shit that like so people are gonna overreact about right now, and then they're gonna do it, and then they're gonna forget like 5 games in. Like they're gonna watch a couple of
Yeah.
spring training games and be like, "This is no different," but it's gonna shave off, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Oh
It just
wow.
seems like how it's gonna go. Um,
All about shaving the time.
yeah, man. It's I was actually having this discussion the other day, and it's like the people that get mad about all these rule changes that the MLB is bringing in are the people that the rule changes aren't made for. You know what I mean? Like the rule changes are
Yeah.
made for the people that don't already want to commit 3.5 hours to watching a baseball game. So
Exactly.
me and my fellow baseball fans of years past overreact immediately to being like, "Why are you shortening up the game?" And then you realize why, and it makes sense. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
at this point, like, I kind of need the pitch clock because I got so used to
Oh,
it.
the pitch clock was amazing.
Yeah,
That it was so amazing.
like when it comes down to it, I'm watching at least an inning of probably over 250 to 300 games a season. So I'm watching a little bit of every single Braves game. I'm watching every single playoff game that I can, and here and there, I'm just like tossing a game on. So yeah, I'm watching somewhere around at least some of 300 baseball games a year. I didn't notice the fucking pitch clock half the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I felt like I noticed it every time. In my opinion, it
Nah.
just like innings were just rolling through.
But like that's always been like baseball has never dragged to me. Like it's never dragged on because I'm used to it.
Yeah,
So like if there's
played it.
somebody that doesn't watch quite as much baseball, they might be like, "Damn, this feels like it's taking forever." I just like I don't know. I watch the minutes go by while I'm watching a baseball game.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, that's all for the MLB. Let's get into something kind of interesting. Our January transfer window wish list. And at first, I didn't think I could think of some. Then I started looking at what some people were saying Newcastle needed, and
And you got
yeah,
excited.
I got excited. I got a couple of people I have in mind. I only have 3 though. I didn't try to go outrageous because I think realistically we only end up signing 1 or 2 players. Um, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say because Chelsea, they like to spend money.
Yeah, I actually only have one player
Oh wow.
that I put for this, but
Okay.
it's more of a discussion. This is what I wanted to bring up last episode, but I decided to wait. So I
Yeah.
want to let you go first since I only have one player.
Okay. So yeah, for Newcastle, I'm gonna start off with 2 midfielders, just because we do need to kind of fill the role of Sandro Tonali, because he'll be gone for the rest of the season. So my first one is Adrian Rabiot from Juventus, the French midfielder. I think that's just you get an experienced midfielder, you get depth in the absence of Tonali. Like Rabiot is 28 years old. He's got 60 appearances in the Champions League. He's got 39 caps for France. He played in all but one of France's matches in the 2022 World Cup. This is a guy with a lot of experience in big games, and considering that we want to stay at the top, we're not just like trying to hit it 1 year, get knocked out of the Champions League, never go back. Um, you know, getting a player with that kind of experience, in playing in big games and playing in big tournaments, is valuable. He's won. I think he's won Serie A before with Juventus. He won plenty of Liga titles with PSG. But yeah, getting a guy with that kind of experience is hard to find, especially considering he's only 28 years old. It's hard to find a lot of guys with that kind of experience. So I think he'd be a fantastic pickup.
Yeah, no, definitely looked good with PSG when he was younger. Looks really good. I would say even better with Juventus. He's kind of like a forgotten, really good midfielder in my opinion.
Yeah,
He's a very good dribbler. He has an awesome touch. Very decent passing as well. But also, for a Premier League standpoint, he's also a 6'2" center mid. He's a massive, big body guy. And I think, yeah, I would love to see him go to Newcastle. That'd be an interesting move.
yeah,
And with Newcastle kind of being new to, Europe and everything, these are the kind of guys you want to bring in. These like kind of like what you said, these unique players that are young, but they've only played for good teams their entire career. So he has the
yeah.
experience there. And yeah, who knows? Maybe a player like him could become a leader on a team like Newcastle.
Exactly. And then my next guy as well kind of have a similar reason for bringing him in, but more like less focusing on the Champions League, more focusing on the Premier League. It's Ruben Neves. And though he just left for Saudi Arabia, he just left Wolves in the summer, Al Hilal done. I don't know if it's really working out for him. I've been seeing so many rumors that he wants to come back to Europe. And getting an experienced midfielder who's played 5 seasons in the Prem already. He's got 44 caps for Portugal, and he's only 26 years old, which is crazy to me
Yeah,
because I feel like he's been around so
solid.
long. The big hangup is that we probably can't loan him in because the Premier League and all their owners will be voting on a temporary rule that is going to halt players being loaned between clubs with the same owners. And due to Newcastle being owned by the Saudi Public Investment Fund and Al Hilal being owned by the Public Investment Fund, it wouldn't be possible if that rule is in place. This rule wouldn't just affect Newcastle, though. They've tried to make that very clear that it's not just aimed at Newcastle, but which makes it seem like it is. But
Oh
it would be
god.
affecting quite a few teams in the Premier League. Chelsea wouldn't be able to make deals with Strasbourg. Um, teams like,
Oh
oh man,
man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it affects you guys in that way, and it affects me in the fact that we can't loan players from Al Nassr, Al Hilal, and Al Ali and Al Ittihad who have like all of the best players in that league.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so hopefully they don't vote on that rule to go into effect. I got a feeling they definitely will. Um, yeah, that would hurt because then we'd have to pay full price to somehow lure him out of Al Hilal. But yeah, I think he'd be a good pickup.
That's going to be something interesting to see because, there've been a couple players like Benzema too who's not
Yeah,
happy over there. I wonder what it's going to be like when we're trying to buy players from Saudi Arabia.
I don't think it'll be an issue. I'm certain it's going to be happening. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see it being that much of an issue because buying and loaning are different. Because like we sold Alan St. Maximin to Al Ali in the summer for like 20 million euros less than we probably could have sold him somewhere else.
Oh wow.
But people kept trying to say that we sold him there so that we could pay to get Sandro Tonali because same ownership. All Ali and Newcastle have the same ownership. Um,
Uh
but the fact that we sent him over for way less than his value and significantly less than what we paid for Sandro Tonali doesn't really line up. But they're trying to avoid situations like that where we're like, hey, you guys should buy this player off of us and then loan him back to us for like 3 million euros. Um, well, I guess pounds, um, since neither of those countries use euros. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be
Uh,
interesting. I would love to have Ruben Neves on this team, though.
Yeah, no, I think he would be another great fit. Obviously younger than Rabiot, has the caps with Portugal. And just someone who's really solid, someone who's not small, but he can move like a small guy. He's
Yeah.
pacey. He can dribble, he can shoot, and he has a very good passing capability too. So, yeah, no, I like both of those players to Newcastle. I do.
Yeah, and then my third one, which I think is possibly one of the more realistic ones, interestingly enough, um, is that if any signing's gonna happen, it's likely gonna be at center back. Um, because we have the depth in the midfield already. Like we have guys that are playing very well in the midfield despite Sandro Tonali's suspension. Because you already have, Longstaff who's really stepped up, and you already have,
Yep.
Guimaraes, Joelinton, amongst others. But at center back, I feel like we're missing the depth that it takes to play at the top level. Because like Sven Botman is a world-class center back, honestly. At this point, he's been fantastic over the course of these 2 years and prior. Fabian Schär complements him very well, but when you play at this top level, when you're trying to be a top 4 team perennially and you're trying to make the Champions League every year, you need the depth at center back, and I just don't think that Jamal Lascelles is quite there to be the next guy in line behind those two. So I think there's actually like a decent chance that Presnel Kimpembe is like a realistic option.
Oh wow, that would be sick.
Yeah, and because he's coming off of an Achilles injury that's left him out since February. Since then, PSG's already replaced him in the starting lineup because Skriniar has played fantastic for them, and I think that drops Kimpembe's value quite a bit. Like we could realistically get him on a permanent deal in like the mid 20s, like mid 20 millions to get Presnel Kimpembe there.
Very affordable.
He'll be probably, I wouldn't say he's going to be like bona fide crucial starting player in this lineup because Fabian Schär is great. But when you can get like a very good left-footed center back that can play at like the top level, that's like a game changer. And I think there's actually a chance he leaves in January.
No, that's a good shout too. Also, a guy with Champions League experience as well, playing for PSG, a guy who knows what it's like to win games too.
Yeah.
I love this move. I think it's actually super realistic and it's very affordable for Newcastle right now. It would be the perfect like your typical January depth move
Yeah.
for this Newcastle team, and I honestly could see. I don't think it's out of the realm for him to take the starting job for Fabian Schär.
No, not at all.
So,
Yeah.
this would be a fantastic signing.
Yeah, that's one that I'd be very excited for. Like, obviously, I'd be excited for the midfield ones, but it's like I like our midfield. I just know we need help, like depth wise. At
Yeah,
defense, there has been question marks. Like Fabian Schär is great, gets up the field a little too much, maybe. But I think Kimpembe
yeah,
does a great job, and then, like I said, having a very good left-footed center back is huge. Um,
I like it.
all right, well, let's hear yours.
All right, so um, how do I want to start this? So I only have one player, as I mentioned before, for Chelsea. My wish list for Chelsea in January. Um, with the state of Chelsea now, even after the 4-4 draw to City, that was an absolutely ridiculous game. Nicholas Jackson's still not my guy. I might be the biggest Nicholas Jackson hater out there. And I still want us to go striker in January. With Real Madrid out of the race. Yep. It's happening. With Real Madrid out of the race, Mbappe needs to come to Chelsea.
He's not leaving in January.
No. We can swing this, I think. Todd Bowley is showing no signs of like slowing down the Chelsea spending spree. And you know what? If Mbappe went to Real Madrid, that doesn't really sound like competing with Haaland to me. Would that not be the most insane move from Mbappe to move to Chelsea, the capital of the country? You would then directly compete with Haaland. It would be like Ronaldo Messi level, like literally. I don't even think that's not an understatement either. It literally would be Ronaldo Messi level. Chelsea have a good history, a good recent history. Not like recent history, but we did win the Champions League 2 years ago. Um, and yeah, I honestly do not think it's out of the realm for Chelsea to sign Mbappe. Maybe in January, but we have to be in the question from Mbappe.
Okay.
What are your
I don't
thoughts?
know. I know that Real Madrid seems to be out of the race due to just the success of Jude Bellingham. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like Chelsea's the spot for him.
Well, if not Real Madrid, where else?
I don't know. I have no clue because it's going to,
Because
first of all,
he already plays for PSG.
I know. Exactly. But like it just seems like first of all it's going to cost you a lot of money. He's not like old yet. Like he's still very young. He's
No.
still one of the best in the world. And it like I don't know what it is about Chelsea as the particular landing spot that doesn't make sense to me, but I can't imagine Kylian Mbappe playing in the Premier League is my issue.
I
And
think
I don't know why.
that's where his sights have to be turned now. I think with Mbappe's ego, I mean, let's just get that out of the way. He has a massive ego.
Yeah.
Why not come to directly compete with Holland like Ronaldo did with Messi?
Or she should team up with him.
Well, we're literally fans of Premier League teams that aren't Manchester City. We don't even need to manifest that happening.
What about Liverpool? Liverpool
Uh,
could be in there.
I don't know. With Darwin Nunez, I think the only other feasible option would be
Dude,
Arsenal.
are you telling me that Liverpool wouldn't replace Darwin Núñez with Kylian Mbappe so fast?
I love Darwin Nunez.
Dude.
You're
Come
right. I don't know what Liverpool would do, but I don't know. Jurgen Klopp seems like more of a project guy, like not just going out and grabbing the best players.
It's
Like
not going to matter.
you
He's
know,
going to be managing Germany like next year.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. It just I don't know. It seems like Real Madrid was the only place that he was going to go.
I don't know. I think I definitely think at the very least Mbappe needs to come to the Prem.
Okay. But then
Yep.
again, like
Bayern
we
Munich.
said that about Messi.
When did we say that about Messi?
I think people said that about Messi for a while. I remember that being a
Oh,
conversation.
yeah. I mean, City wanted
City
him for the
tried
longest
really
time.
hard.
Yeah, they did.
Man, I
But
think that was an attempt to get him with Aguero.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But I don't know. Mbappe needs to come to the Prem, regardless. If it's not Chelsea, he needs to come here.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right in my head. Maybe it's just denial. Maybe it is, but it doesn't seem
It
right to
doesn't
me.
with me either, but I know that Chelsea they have their sights on him. It's even Tony, Mbappe, and Victor Osimhen.
Well, it's just three very clear tiers there.
They really are.
It's like, okay, let's pick up a guy that's played as the whole time we've known who he is. He's played at Brentford. And then let's pick up a guy who started playing well last year, and Victor Osimhen, and then one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
It's
I know
interesting.
it sounds crazy, but I think it's actually really feasible. I really do.
All right. Yeah. Well, Todd Bowley better open up that checkbook there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into questions time.
Let's do it.
All right. You want to start?
Yeah, I will.
Hold
with
on.
it being
Breaking news. Shohei Ohtani, AL MVP.
Oh, so he didn't go to the Yankees yet.
No, not that kind of breaking news. All right, now you can start.
Good for him. Shout out Ohtani. Has there ever been a player that's won the World Baseball Classic and won MVP the same year?
Maybe. Let's see who was
That'd be kind of something
when was the
interesting.
last one? 2017
I
Classic.
think so.
Well, yeah, Giancarlo Stanton, 2017.
Carlos Stanton was MVP in 2017.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he hit like
That seems like
60 something bombs.
oh
Right?
damn.
59. Yeah,
Huh. Well,
the highest.
Giancarlo and
Yeah.
Shohei. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Questions time. So, with it being international break, I decided to give you an international question.
Oh, okay.
Um, how will Carlo Ancelotti do with Brazil?
Like, he is the master of finding young Brazilian players. It appears. Oh man, I don't know. Like Carlo Ancelotti is just an amazing manager, in general. So like it's hard to say that he won't just be great. My issue is like there is kind of like a changing of the guard with Brazil. Like
Yeah.
Neymar is, obviously he had the injury, but I think his best years are kind of behind him at this point. I think that's
Yep.
safe to say. And he was always kind of the leader, at least when you look at like who's getting selected for these squads, but like who's on the Brazil squad for this, like who got selected.
Um, Probably.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up their call ups. I've never had to look this up. I don't even know how to look it up. I think I might have found a
I actually
website.
haven't either.
There we go. Maybe. Okay, yeah. So you've got Alisson, Ederson, some random guy, Gabriel from Arsenal, Bremer from Juventus, Marquinhos, Emerson Royale, Carlos Agosto, Renan Lodi. Midfield, Andre from Fluminense, Bruno Guimaraes, Douglas Luiz, Joelinton, Rafael Veiga, Rodrigo. And then your forwards, you have Gabriel Jesus, Rafinha, Endrick, Pepe, Vinicius Jr., Yao Pedro, Paulinho, and Gabriel Martinelli.
I can't
That's a
believe
super
Endrick is there,
young
man.
team. Obviously,
It
Endrick is
is.
very young, but like
Yeah.
outside of what Marquinhos, like
Yeah.
Marquinhos, and then
Everybody's
like
4 years
Alisson
old.
and Ederson aren't that young anymore. Same for like Gabriel Jesus, I guess. Like considering like their front three in these games could literally be like Vinicius Jr., Yao Pedro, and like Rafinha on the right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then your midfield would be like it probably Rodrigo at like right mid, or left mid. And then you'd have like Guimaraes, Douglas Luiz, and Joelinton out of
I'd have
this
Vinicius in there.
crop. Yeah, Vinicius is a left wing.
Oh,
He's a
gotcha.
forward. And then like in your defense, I would assume they go like a. Oh man, that's tough. Having Gabriel, Bremer, and Marquinhos as center back options. Maybe that is just how they roll it, a three at the back.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like your fullbacks are Emerson Royale and Renan Lodi, which like they're not bad at all. But yeah, look, I don't know. I'm stringing out this question far too long now, but I think like Carlo Ancelotti is not going to have an issue. Obviously, there's so much young talent coming through. Considering like in these line like in this selection, they picked like 6 guys that are still playing in Brazil right now.
Yeah.
So
It's very Carlo Ancelotti of them.
yeah, very much. Even though he's not
Yeah,
even the coach yet.
exactly.
But like I have a feeling like Alisson will probably leave. In a few years he'll probably retire from international duty. Same goes for Neymar. Um, we've had plenty of guys kind of drop out of it in the past couple of years. I think I think a new guard has come in, and I'm excited for it. Like shit, you know, 4 years from now, Marquinhos is probably gone too.
Yeah,
And like
definitely.
we're looking at
It's
like
just
Bruno Guimaraes as their captain, or like Vinicius.
it, yeah, I know, and it's not going to take that long, but I just think a young Brazil team with Carlo Ancelotti as their manager, we're getting into like almost unfair
Yeah,
territory.
I agree.
I think it could be stupid good
Yeah.
for them.
All right. Okay, are we going random order, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do random.
Okay. Do you think the Bills firing offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey was the right way to react?
Oh man, that's a good one. No, I don't think so. I would say it was very heavily social media driven. They were under attack after that Monday Night Football
Yeah.
game. The entire Bills team, like you had people making like fake Instagram stories of Stephon Diggs. Like apparently Josh Allen told him to put on a Broncos jersey after asking for the ball or something like that. So no, I don't think it was the right way to react. Like, look, you have a quarterback that's a risk taker, and I know a lot about risk taking quarterbacks because I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was kind of similar. Ben Roethlisberger threw a lot of picks.
Yeah.
Um, he was another risk take type quarterback. Um, and I mean, their offense is fine, in my opinion. It's looked really good with James Cook and Dalton Kincaid, getting added to the mix there. So no, I do not think it was the right reaction. Maybe down the road,
Yeah.
like it maybe thinking of offensive coordinator limiting turnovers. Yeah, but I don't think you do that mid-season.
Yeah, I think at 5-5, like your season's not just like down the drain. Like you have winnable games coming up. Obviously, you can win this week against the Jets. Probably don't win against the Eagles or the Chiefs. You got a chance against the Cowboys. You got a chance against the Chargers. You probably win that one. You probably beat the Patriots, and then if you're still looking good, you could beat the Dolphins in the final week of the season. Like this season's not gone, and 10 weeks in, you're firing your OC after all things considered, plenty of bad offensive showings. You had, of course, the season opener where you only put up 16 and you lost to the Jets. You had the 14-9 win over the Giants. You had the 29-25 loss to the Patriots where they had a ton of chances to score and they didn't. And then you have 24-18 against the Bengals, and now this horrible fuck up that leads to a loss, which then again, Ken Dorsey wasn't the guy putting 12 people on the field on special teams.
It was not.
So that's another thing to look at. Maybe
Yeah, that was a good
you're
question.
more looking at Sean McDermott, since the defense isn't playing well either.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's not something you do 10 games in. You can fire the OC 10 games in. You can't fire the head coach unless you're the
no,
Raiders.
especially
Yeah,
one with a pretty consistent playoff track as
yeah,
well in
yeah.
recent times too. All right, well that means I go MLB, and all I wrote was Aaron Nola to the Braves? Question mark.
Nah, it's not happening, unfortunately.
Why not?
I would be cool with it. I definitely would. I think there's just too many other teams that are willing to spend more on his services than the Braves. I think the Braves are
Do you
more
feel
focused
like
on a different starting pitcher.
kind of a follow-up question since that one was pretty short. Do you think the Braves, with how much money they've kind of spent on, like Riley Acuna, and kind of that like whole like five players, Sean Murphy,
Yeah.
Matt Olson in there as well. They are affordable deals, but do you think it limits the Braves as to what they can do? Like if they wanted to go and get like a blockbuster player or something
No,
like
because
that.
we already have blockbuster players. That's
Okay.
the thing. Is like we don't need to go out and get some fucking hard hitting player. We need pitching.
Yeah.
And that's something that we haven't spent a lot of money on. Spencer Strider, team friendly deal. Max Fried, team friendly deal. Kyle Wright, same thing. Charlie Morton makes like fucking nothing. Um, like same goes for Rizal Iglesias, who we haven't even given a contract while he's been here. We're just riding off of the contract that the Angels gave him. Like
Yep.
a bunch of these guys on our team aren't getting paid as much as they probably could on the open market, but they're on this team now, and they're great players. We still need to go out and get a starting pitcher regardless, whether you can save some money on Sonny Gray, maybe. But that's a AL Cy Young finalist. And then
Yeah.
maybe Jordan Montgomery costs less, and you want to go out and try and get Jordan Montgomery from the world champions, which could be easier than it sounds. Because, I've talked about it a couple times. Like, you win the World Series, you typically lose a couple of players because these guys are like, all right, I won my ring. I can go do it somewhere else. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe we do get Jordan Montgomery. Regardless, we need a starting pitcher, and we need a good one. We need one that can slot in at least at third in the rotation.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be somebody better than Kyle Wright and Charlie Morton. Doesn't have to particularly be better than Max Fried, and pretty hard to get better than Spencer Strider.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'll ask you a soccer question. Why is Xabi Alonso the most sought-after manager in Europe right now, and he's like just started managing?
Dude, they are playing like Xavi ball over there in Germany and Leverkusen.
Crazy.
They look amazing. I just think it's, he didn't become a manager of necessarily a big team like Mikel Arteta did. He's younger than Mikel Arteta, and is Leverkusen better than Arsenal?
Man, I don't know.
You can make a case,
I think when you look at like the talent on the teams, you're gonna say Arsenal. And look, Arteta just has a bigger body of work at this point.
Yeah,
that's the big thing to me. But interestingly enough, there is a buyout clause in old Xabi Alonso's contract with Bayer Leverkusen that Real Madrid might be paying for to replace Carlo Ancelotti, and it's only $20 million.
Oh no!
Yeah,
dude, Florentino Perez can pull that out of his back pocket.
Exactly, and I got a feeling he probably will.
That would be, it's cool that he's the manager of Leverkusen, but to see him go back to Real Madrid would be amazing. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, I think.
But yeah,
he said something. He had a very good quote, the other day. I'm gonna try and find it. Something about being like Basque with a German flair. Something great. It sounded awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it, but yeah, I was like, oh, this guy's totally going to Real Madrid when I saw that quote. I was like, I know you're managing in Germany right now, and you played a few years over there, but come on. Nobody, you can't turn down Real Madrid. Is that fair to say?
Like as a player or as a manager?
As a manager. I think that's a hard job to turn down. Unless, of course, you have a history with Barcelona or you're already in a fantastic position. Obviously, like, Pep is out of the question. Guys like Jurgen Klopp are probably out of the question just because he's had success at Liverpool.
Yeah.
But, like, I think there's plenty of guys out there.
I think you're right. The only way I turn down Real Madrid is they run a mafia over there. I don't think Florentino Perez is the most ethical guy when it comes to owners.
But then again, I would probably turn down Barcelona before I turn down Real Madrid, only because of how many financial issues they run into every year.
And obviously, with the ref scandal that came out recently with them, being proven that they've been bribing refs. But I honestly, truly believe that Florentino Perez does similar things, just doesn't get caught.
Probably.
I think he's on a different level of power. But yeah, to your point, you normally do not turn down Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Ever.
So yeah, Xabi Alonso is 100% going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck happened to Union Berlin, dude? You see they fired their manager and they're last in the Bundesliga right now?
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Real fall from grace after last year making the fucking UCL. Crazy.
Dang. So they're going to get sent out in the group and never go back.
Yeah. They're going to get knocked out of the UCL and relegated to the fucking Bundesliga 2 in the same year.
Oh, no.
You're
right,
Europe. Yeah, Europe.
NFL.
Yeah.
NFL question. So, um, should the Steelers draft a quarterback in the first round?
Where are they picking?
Well, our sorry asses are 6-3 somehow, so it's not going to be a good one.
That's my issue.
But there's a lot of quarterbacks though.
There is, but there's gonna be guys that are better options than that quarterback at the position if you're in like the middle of the first round.
Yeah, that's true. But
So like right
I,
now
I,
they're lined up. Actually, they're not in a bad spot to pick a quarterback at 22. Ooh. Let me see like how people are ranking the quarterbacks.
okay.
Because like
While
I
you're
haven't
doing that,
really looked into it that much.
it's just like watching teams with like C.J. Stroud and Will
Yeah.
Levis and Brock
Makes you
Purdy.
wish
I
for a
feel
new
very left
quarterback.
out. Very, very left out. Yeah.
It's fair.
And don't get me wrong, he's a Pitt kid. He plays with a lot of grit. He's so good in press conferences, and he's the exact toughness that Ben Roethlisberger was. He just fucking blows. Like overall, just pretty. He sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like Kenny Pickett, man.
It's fair. All right, so this one as of October 14th. Um okay. You'd be looking at probably a Bo Nix or Michael Penix, who are
Oh,
both
Michael
like
Penix.
25 years old.
No way.
Yeah.
I thought Michael Penix was younger.
Nah, he spent I think 2 years at Indiana. Now he's 2 or 3 years in at Washington.
Dude, if we could get Michael Penix, oh my god. I'd
Be
be
great.
so
Yeah.
excited for that.
Yeah. I think
6'3",
because like the
213.
thing is, okay, so you're not getting Caleb and you're not getting Drake May. Those two are off the table for sure.
I don't want Caleb.
I don't either. Shit, Drake May might be on the table for me. Oh, I
Nice.
fucking hope he is. But yeah,
uh,
well, it's tough, man. Like Bo Nix. The thing with Bo Nix and Michael Penix is we both seen them suck dick in college. Like they both sucked at points. Michael Penix, I remember, like far before starting this podcast, of course, like me and Brock, like talking shit about how bad he was at Indiana. And like being like, this
yeah.
guy fucking sucks. Like you play them, it's an automatic win. Kalen DeBoer figured something out and then brought him along to Washington and figured it out. Dan Lanning figured something out with Bo Nix at Oregon, and it's working. Probably because he knows exactly how to beat Bo Nix, considering he did it at Georgia every year he played him. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's tough because like it seems like this is the year to draft a quarterback because like you could be getting Jaden Daniels in like the end of the second round.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could probably get Jaden Daniels in like the third round. But like also
Maybe.
second or third round, you could get a guy like Michael Pratt, who I'm sure you haven't heard of, but he's the Tulane quarterback and he is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
So
don't know who Michael Pratt is.
yeah, there's things to look forward to. You guys don't necessarily have to pick in the first round a quarterback. Is kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, we could go first round offensive line and then, wait for our quarterback. But I'm just, I really like how the offense has been for Pittsburgh ever since Matt Canada has moved down to the sideline. We are 2-0 since he's been
Yeah,
down at the sideline. And I don't think he's a good offensive coordinator. It's just I think things are looking better for him. And with things looking better for Matt Canada, now my focus is on the fact that it might be Kenny Pickett that's the main problem in Pittsburgh.
I think he is.
So
All right, so I'm looking at a Steelers specific mock draft. They've got you guys taking safety Tyler Nubin from Minnesota. Weird.
that sounds great.
Let's
I like
see.
KZ and Menka.
Yeah, I do too. Could be looking corner as well. Oh, okay.
Mm.
I wouldn't be mad about this one. Cooper DeJean, from Iowa is genuinely one of the best corners I've watched in college football, and he's white. That's crazy.
No way.
Yeah, he's also white, which is insane. That I just said one of the best corners I've ever watched in college football, and he's white in the same sentence is
Is he going in the
absurd.
first round?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this
Wow.
guy is fucking locked down.
Holy shit, dude. This guy, oh my God.
He's good, dude. He's real fucking good.
Oh, wow. That doesn't look like a cornerback.
Nope. He is white as hell.
Damn. I like what was that Apke guy that played? He was always pretty fun to watch. Taylor Apke? Was that his name?
I can't remember, but I know who you're talking
Troy
about.
Apke. He's
Also,
actually still in the league.
If Cooper
Shout out Troy
DeJean
Apke.
does go to the Steelers, he doesn't have to change up his colors, which is nice.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing.
It's
pretty
exactly the same.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, if you accidentally turned on, like, you thought it was you thought it was Sunday, but it was Saturday, and you turned on an Iowa game, you'd be like, oh, there's the Steelers. Oh, cool. They can't score points either. Iowa's got to be one of the worst offenses I've ever watched, but we talk about college football on Mondays, so I won't get too deep into that. But, yeah, my final question for you. Are you excited for this offseason for the Yankees, or do you think it's going to be kind of boring?
It definitely doesn't need to be boring. You know, we've been rumored with a lot of guys that I love, but that happens every year. Like I remember it was Mike Trout like 4 or 5 years ago. That was, never happened, obviously.
I do think you guys can get like one of the big name bats. I think you can get a Matt Chapman or a Cody Bellinger in this offseason.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I could definitely see Cody Bellinger not. You and I both talked about it. We've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but the pinstripes change people.
Yeah.
And it shows a lot if a player can, play through the pinstripes after being a big free agent. Carlos Rodon.
And a lot of other people.
But anyway, we don't need to talk about the other ones. But I'm more excited for Yamamoto though. That's been my favorite rumor so far. And maybe it's just because me keeping up with Bauer's vlogs, kind of keeping up with the Japan League over there. But yeah, I like Yamamoto a lot. I just hope he doesn't end up like Tanaka, which Tanaka wasn't that bad, but
no. He's not showing.
We need a star, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think to answer your question, I do think that this season the Yankees are going to bring in somebody big.
Okay. Yeah. Me and Colin did our free agent predictions on Monday's episode, and we both said that Yamamoto's going to the Mets. Unfortunately,
oh man,
I think that's the best.
The other New York team.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
I hope not.
It doesn't matter. We'll just figure it out when it comes by, and we'll keep everybody here listening updated. This is that point in the episode where I look deep into the camera and I tell you to like and follow and subscribe and rate and all that good stuff. But the big thing is to share. Sharing is caring. So make sure you guys are sharing with everyone. Family, not family. You pull up to the corner. This guy walks up. Hey, can I get some money? No. Here's a podcast for you to listen to, though. I'm kidding. I'm actually the guy that I hate having cash on me. So I keep it in my car, and every time I pull up to a corner and some guy's like asking for cash, I just like hand it out to him. Because I hate having cash on me. I'm not trying to brag. That's genuinely just what I do. I'm not trying to be like, I'm fucking awesome. I give so many guys cash on the side of the road. No, it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say that the once every almost never that occurs, I'm digging deep. Whenever it does occur, I hand them cash. Whatever. You should follow us because of that, and then share it with the next homeless person you see.
You should.
I've dug a hole so deep now. Luke, anything else for the people?
No, let me hang on. I'm gonna browse real fast. I know that this is gonna be a long intro, but I just wanted to.
Well, it's an outro, so you're lucky.
Oh, outro. Yeah, that got confused there. Hey, they're close. Intro, outro.
Yeah, except they're on opposite ends
Uh,
of this 2-hour episode.
let's see. Oh, this was something that I actually wanted to bring up on the podcast, but I totally forgot. I
All
don't know
right,
how we're
you
going to
got
turn this
you
into
got a
an
couple of
outro.
seconds.
Ronaldo is top 3 in goals among like all leagues this year. He has more goals than Kylian Mbappe.
Congrats, he plays in the Farmers League.
Dude, did you watch that video I sent you?
No, maybe.
Of course
I don't
not.
know. I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't know what video.
Ronaldo
You send me a lot of videos.
Ronaldo is not scoring farmer goals. Let's just say that.
No, okay, yeah, no, I did watch that one. He's not.
He's been playing ridiculous over there. Maybe Chelsea can sign him instead of Mbappe.
I'd rather have Mbappe.
Yeah,
All right,
I
that's
would
gonna
too.
do it for us, guys. Thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the football. Peace.